Peace be multiplied, YouTube. Thank you for joining and welcome to my channel. I'm your host, Pamela Denise. Today I want to talk to somebody in particular because we're at the end of January. And a lot of times we get real excited about the end of a year, beginning of a new year, because this is going to be our year. We're going to make some things pop differently, right? And you can, but it is your responsibility. Your life is your responsibility. Where you are is a direct result of what you have done and what you have not done. And so I want to encourage you because this really can be your year, but you're going to have to make some choices. For a lot of us, some different choices. And so I'm here to encourage you the last part of January, because I don't want us to be in January and we done fell off already. Okay? So be encouraged and know that you got to get started. But what are we getting started with? First, we got to get started by knowing who you are and what it is you want. A lot of us are chasing perceived images of what success looks like. Like there are images of what success looks like in this world. A lot of times it has to do with material things and not really what's important. So I'm going to encourage you, first of all, take some time to figure out who you are and what it is that you want. When I was in my 20s, I used to listen to this inspirational channel. It was like the channel that was real staticky. And a guy said that he had called someone and there was on their answering machine. Remember, we used to have answering machines back in the day. I know I'm dating myself. We had answering machines back in the day. And when you call this person, their answering machine said, "This is not an answering machine. It's a questioning machine." And my question for you is, who are you and what do you want? So I'm going to ask you to ask yourself these questions. Who are you and what do you want? Second, I'm going to say that you know that a lot of us have fear of the unknown. Like the unknown can be really, really scary to a lot of us. I'm going to take a deep breath right there because you are not alone. But that's where faith has to kick in. Like you have to believe in something that is bigger than yourself. And I'm going to just encourage you to say the Most High God, because God is in control of all things. And so faith and fear cannot operate in the same place. So when you become fearful of doing something that's different, like you have this idea of what your life can look like, but once you get started, then we might hit a bump in the road and then we become a little fearful, like, I can't do this, but you can. That's when you have to say, I believe that God is real. I believe that the greater one lives on the inside of me. And you could even go as far as to say, when fear tries to arrest me, I will be courageous, because that's what fear does. Fear stops you in your track and it tries to arrest you. But that's when faith kicks in and you say, you know what? I'm not going to let fear win this time. This is when I'm going to be courageous. Next, stop procrastinating. Procrastination is the assassination of your dreams. You think that we have tomorrow, but tomorrow is not promised to nobody. Truthfully, tonight is not promised to anybody. So figure out a way to begin to implement small habits. You can do one thing. People think that we got to do a lot of big things, but no, you got to do little things, but you got to do them a lot. So start by doing something small. The minute things, the small things can make the biggest difference in your life. And stop waiting till things get perfect before you move, because I know too many people, so many people in my life, like things have to be perfect before they get started. Perfection is the enemy of progress. If you think that things have to be 100% in line before you get started, you are lying. You are fooling yourself. When I was growing up, I used to always hear that practice makes perfect. There's no such thing as perfection. Practice makes precise. The more you do something, anything, it can be bad or misaligned with who you are, because bad and good, it's only a perception, right? So it could be misaligned with who you are, or it could be aligned with who you are. Hopefully you're going to start doing things that are aligned with who you are. Practice does not make perfect. Practice makes precise. Next, your habits create your habitation. I'm going to say it a little bit slower. Your habits create your habitation. That's where you live. I'm going to say it a little louder for the people in the back. Your habits create your habitation. What you do on a regular basis will determine explicitly without a shadow of a doubt what your life will look like. So I'm going to encourage you in this moment to begin to create habits that align with who you want to become. Because a lot of times we do things, we set goals based on what we want to achieve. But if you create habits around who you want to become, your life is going to begin to look exactly like what you want it to look like. I remember reading a book some years ago, and it taught this principle about habit stacking. A lot of times we think we got to do a lot of big things, when in fact we got to do little things a lot. So begin to create habits that are aligned with who you want to become. That's why I said initially, everything is based around who you want to be. Who are you? If we don't know who we are and we're just doing stuff, we're going to end up like, well, how did I end up here? Right? So years ago, I knew that after reading that book, I knew that I wanted to, because I struggled a lot with my weight. And I never got really, really big. At one time I did, but I always struggled with the last 10, 15-ish pounds. And so I said, I don't want to be the type of person that's always worrying about my weight. I just want to be the type of person that it is my desire to eat a salad at the end of the night. Like, it's lighter, it's easier to digest when you go to bed. And today, I am the person who eats a salad before I go to bed and drink freshly squeezed juice. So there is that. Decide the type of person you want to become, and create habits around that, because it is where you're going to live. It's what your life is going to look like. Oh, this real, real big. A lot of times people, because I'm a single woman. I have been married and I have not been married. And I know for sure, for women who are listening, even men, because sometimes we get to a certain place in life and we think that we got to wait until we're married, until we find our person, and then we can begin to create the life that we want. No, your life is your responsibility. This is what I know to be true. If you figure out, first of all, who God is, and you create a space for him in your life, and you begin to sit with him, then he'll show you who you are. And then he'll allow you to do the things that he created you to do. You start doing those things, God knows exactly where you are, what you need, and how to get it to you. Don't wait for somebody. Tap into your assignment, and then God will allow the person that you're supposed to be connected with and who you're supposed to connect with, he's going to allow y'all to connect on the road to doing the things that he created you to do. Don't wait. Life is not promised. Get busy doing the things, and God will get everything to you that he wants you to have, including the person that he desires you to be with. If God don't desire you to be with him, you don't want him no way. Now for the married people, I can speak to you too, because I have been there. I'm going to tell you something. A lot of times we end up in marriages based on societal standards. I'm speaking to myself. I've been married twice, and I can tell you both times that I was married, once I got into the marriage, I focused, even the Bible says this, that a married woman cares about the things of her husband, but a single woman cares about the things of the Lord. Like, I lost myself in both marriages. I completely lost my zeal, my desire to learn. True story. And I'm not talking against marriages, because I believe that I'll probably do it again. I'm almost certain I'll do it again, but I'm not there right now. But I can tell you for sure that I'm an avid reader. I love to read, because we don't know what we don't know. And I remember a guy I know back in the day, he said that if you want to hide something from a fool, put it in a book. And I said, well, I'm no fool. And immediately became an avid reader, because there's so much information and your mind expands beyond where it is, right? And so I became an avid reader. But this is what happens when I read. When I read, I gather new information, and with the information, I want to do something. I want to use the information to change my life. And I was in a marriage that my husband wasn't with it. It's like I became a nuisance. I was annoying, because I'd get this information and I'm like, oh, we can do this and we can be this. And he'd be like, girl, you just sat down somewhere. So in order to preserve my marriage, I stopped reading my truth. I stopped reading literally for about 5 years, I did not pick up a book. I was afraid that I get on my husband's nerves, and no wife wants to get on her husband's nerves, so I stopped growing. But I'm gonna tell you something. I'm making up for lost time now, y'all. I am doing all the things, reading all the books and getting all the information and doing something with it. So if you are married, because this is where I started. If you are married and you are misaligned, I'm gonna just encourage you. Do everything that you can to be at peace, because this is what the Bible say. Do everything you can to be at peace, but don't lose who you know and believe God created you to be, because at the end of it all, he gonna get you back to where he wants you to be. So there is that. And lastly, if you don't have no money, because that is the thing. That is the thing right now. People struggling, and I can laugh about it. Like, I ain't laughing at you. I'm laughing with you, because me too. But there are things that you can still do even if you don't have any money. You can take care of your body. You can drink more water. That will help you. That'll help you flow, right? You can be still and listen for God. He'll still lead you where he wants you to go. You can go to YouTube University and learn. If there's a skill or something that you have purposed in your heart that you want to do in order to make this world a better place, and you don't really know where to get started, somebody is doing something similar to what it is that you desire to do. Learn. You can go to the library to get books. You can learn from, like, there are things you can do. Just because you don't have any money don't mean that you cannot start moving forward, okay? You can take care of your body. You can do push-ups. You don't need money for that. You drink more water. You can read. And you can listen for the voice of God. I hope this helps. Until next time, y'all be well. Peace. Be multiplied.